All right, so because you guys want me to make these videos, I'm gonna do these videos. My energy isn't there like I told y'all, but we'll do what we can do. So first video I'm gonna be making is the Thursdays videos on the notes. Let me just share the screen real quick. All right, so you should be able to see my screen. On Thursday, again, we said we're not gonna do this part. This was a typo right here. So all this is a typo. All right, Thursday was super easy and quick notes. All you gotta know is that we just did two things. We just converted from degrees to radians and radians to degrees. The way that you convert from degrees to radians is you're just gonna multiply by pi over 180. From radians to degrees, it's 180 over pi. So all you gotta remember is degrees to radians is pi over 180, and radians to degrees is 180 over pi. So we hear the examples. They're telling you to convert from degrees to radians. So we're gonna be multiplying our degrees by pi over 180. All we got to do is over here, is do times pi over 180. And now the way you should treat this problem, or the way that I expect you to treat this problem is just put the 120 to the top. So it's going to be 120 over 180. And the pi is also on the top. Now, all you got to do now is just put in your calculator. Let your calculator do all the work. So what you're going to put in your calculator is just the numbers. Ignore the pi. So all you're going to do is 120 divided by 180. And that gives us a decimal. The way we turn the decimal into a fraction using these calculators is all you got to do is click second, PRB, and then gives us our answers. So it's 2 over 3. So you're just going to go 2 over 3. And then you're just going to add the pi at the top. And boom, you're done. All you got to do. So again, same thing over here. Since we're converting from degrees to radians, we're going to multiply by pi over 180. So that's going to be 15 over 180. And the pi's on top. And then we're just going to put in our calculator. So in the calculator, you're just going to put just the numbers. So 15 divided by 180. That gives us a decimal. So to change it from a decimal to a fraction, you click second PRB, and that gives us 1 over 12. So it's going to be 1 over 12, and then the pi goes on top. And then whenever you have 1 pi on top, you can just rewrite this as pi over 12, because this pi has an invisible 1 in the front. It's just not explicitly shown. But if you give me this first one right here, I'll take it still. You won't be marked as wrong. All right. So again, next one, same thing. Just multiply by pi over 180. So it's going to be 270 over 180, and then the pi's on top. And then this just can be just put it in your calculator. So 270 divided by 180. Click second PRB. And then whenever we have a little u in our calculator, the way you turn it into a mixed fraction is you click second ABC, and that gives us 3 over 2. So this is going to be 3 over 2. And then again, the pi you keep on top. All right. So super straightforward. All right. Next one, you're going to do the same thing. Multiply by pi over 180. So it's going to be 405 over 405 pi over 180. And then you just put the numbers in your calculator. So you're going to put 405 divided by 180. That gives you 2.25. Click second PRB. That gives you 2 and 1/4. Click second ABC. That gives you 9/4. So this is just 9/4, and pi goes on top, so it's 9 pi over 4. And that's it. That's all you gotta do from converting degrees to radians. Okay, that's easy. Now from converting from radians to degrees, still super straightforward. So for degrees to radians, we multiply pi over 180. So from radians to degrees, we're gonna do the second one, which is 180 over pi. So all you gotta do is the same thing, but multiply by 180 over pi. So over here, this next one, you're gonna have times 180 over pi. The pi's are gonna cancel. So you'll be left with 180 over 2. And then you can just put this in your calculator, or if you know how to do this on the top of your head, you could do that. I'm just going to show it in the calculator so you guys know how to do it. So 180 divided by 2, you get 90. And that right there is your answer. So again, that's all you got to do. Super straightforward. Just multiply by 180 over pi to change it from radians to degrees. Pi's cancel. And then when we have two numbers, just put the two numbers on top. So 4 times 180 divided by 5. And then what's 4 times 180? So 180 times 4, 720 divided by 5, and you get 144. And that there's your answer. Again, we're just going to do the same thing. Since we're converting from radians to degrees, all you're doing is multiplying by 180 over pi. Pi's cancel. 7 times 180 is on top, and 4 is on the bottom. Now you just do 7 times 180. That gives us 1260. So 1260 divided by 4. Now it gives us 315. And that's it. That's your answer. So super straightforward. Again, last one of the notes. Just multiply it by 180 over pi. Pi's cancel. You'll be left with 180 over 10. Then you can put that in your calculator, just do it straight out the top of your head. 180 divided by 10 is 18. And you're done. So that's it for the notes. I'm gonna do the worksheet as well because I promised y'all I was gonna do the worksheet as well. So again, over here, whole front page, we're just gonna be converting from radians, or from degrees to radians. So all we're gonna have to do is just multiply by pi over 180. The backside is you're just multiplying by, or converting from radian to degrees. So you're gonna have to multiply by 180 over pi. So over here, 35 degrees. Again, since we're doing from degrees to radians, we're gonna have to multiply by pi over 180. So just do times pi over 180. This just turns into 35 over 180 pi, and you just put the 35 divided by 180 in your calculator, or just the numbers in your calculator. So you're gonna do 35 divided by 180. Second PRB, since we have a decimal point, and that gives you 7 over 36. So this is just 7 over 36, and then the pi goes on top. And you're done. That's your answer. So again, same thing. Multiply by pi over 180. So this is just 210 pi over 180. And then just put the 210 divided by 180 in your calculator. Since we have a decimal, we'll do second PRB. And then since we have that U, let's do second ABC. 7 over 6. So your answer is going to be 7 pi over 6. Again, same thing. Multiply by pi over 180. So that's going to be 150 pi over 180. And you just put that in your calculator. So 150 divided by 180. Second PRB, pi over 6. That's going to be 5 over 6 pi. Or 5 pi over 6, I meant. And then that's it. Same thing, next one. Multiply by pi over 180. And that's going to be 660 pi all over 180. And now you just put that in your calculator. So 660 divided by 180. That gives you 2.6667. Second PRB. And then change that into another one. We do second ABC. So 11 over 3. So this is just 11 pi over 3. And you're done. All right. The next one's, I'm just going to do one more row because I feel like this is super repetitive. And I feel like you guys could do it with just me doing 2 rows. So next one, just times pi over 180. So that's just 165 pi over 180. And now you just put that in your calculator. So 165 divided by 180. Second PRB, that gives you 11 over 12. So this is just 11 pi over 12. Now we're just going to do the same thing. So multiply by pi over 180 gives you 315 pi over 180. Now you just put that in your calculator. So 315 divided by 180. Second PRB, second ABC. You get 7 over 4. So 7 pi over 4. And then again, next one, same thing. Times it by pi over 180. That gives you 40 pi over 180. And now you just put it in your calculator. So 40 divided by 180. And then to change from decimal to fraction, we do second PRB. And that gives us 2 over 9. So it's 2 pi over 9. The last one I'll do on the front page. multiply by pi over 180. 240 times, that gives you 240 times pi, or 240 pi over 180. And now you just put in your calculator. So 240 divided by 180 gives us a decimal, so we're going to do second PRB. And then that gives us a U, so we're going to do second ABC. That gives us 4 over 3. So this is just 4 pi over 3. That's your answer. All right, now I'm just going to do half of the backside. Well, same 2 rows. So since the backside we're changing from radians to degrees, all you're going to be multiplying by is 180 over pi. So 180 over pi. Over here, pi's are going to cancel. You'll be left with 180 over 4. And then 180 divided by 4. If you do this on the top of your head, it's just going to be 45. So you can't do that at the top of your head. You can just put in your calculator. So again, same thing we're doing on this one. 180 over pi. Pi's cancel. I'll be left with 7 times 180 all over 6. And now, what's 7 times 180? So you're going to do that in your calculator. That gives you 1260. So that's 1260 divided by 6. And then put that in your calculator if you don't know how to do that. And that gives you 210. And 210 degrees is your answer. Now we're going to do the same thing on this one. Multiply by 180 over pi. Pi's cancel. You're left with 11 times 180 all over 9. 11 times 180 gives you 1980 all over 9 gives you 220. So your answer is going to be 220 degrees. All right, last one of the first row. So we're going to multiply by 180 over pi. Pi's cancel. You're left with 13 times 180 on top. And on the bottom, you're left with 3. So you're going to put 13 times 180. Gives us 2340 all over 3. So you can divide by 3. That gives you 780. So your answer is going to be 780 degrees. All right, last row I'm going to do for the video. So again, multiply by 180 over pi. This one, the pi's are going to cancel. So you'll be left with 7 times 180, which is just 1260. And that's your answer. Again, over here, multiply by 180 over pi. So you'll be left with 5 times 180 all over 4. And then 5 times 180 is 900. So 900 divided by 4. And then just put that in your calculator. That's 225. And that's your answer, and you're done. All right, the last two. So again, multiply by 180 over pi. Pi's cancel. You're left with 35 times 180 all over 18. You're going to do 180 times 35. Gives you 6,300. And now just divide by 18. That gives you 350. So this is 350 degrees, and you're done. All right, last one of the vid. So it's just going to be multiplied by 180 over pi. Pi's cancel. So you'll be left with 3 times 180 on top. 4 still is on the bottom. So we're going to do the top one first. So 3 times 180 gives us 540. On bottom you have 4. So divide by 4 to get your answer, 135. And that's your answer, and you're done. All right. So that's going to be all for these notes. And then I'll also be doing Friday's notes. Yeah, Friday's notes. And then not Monday's, only because Monday I don't think is as important to make a video of. And then I'll do Tuesday's notes, and then I'll put all that up. But that is all for this one.